When I say Hollywood, what is the first word that comes into your mind?
Oh, wow! Wow!
Now, I'm not a psychic, but I bet it's either a sequel or a remake. Remakes or reboots are everywhere, and on paper they work. These stories were successful in the past, and it makes sense to serve them again with a new look when enough time passes. It is a gamble though, and when they work they can breathe a new life into the classics.
Been practicing this speech, hadn't you?
A little bit. Did I rush it? Felt like I rushed it.
That was good, I liked it.
But when they don't,
What did you think I was?
in this video we'll examine some of the worst remakes that should have stayed in the studio vaults. 2002 Rollerball was a remake of a 1975 sci-fi classic.
Jonathan E., that's the name. Houston players come and go, but the champion plays on.
The movie, directed by John McTiernan, who made films like Predator, Die Hard and The Hunt for the Red October. It was a massive failure, both commercially and critically.
It's time to play Rollerball!
It's the world's #1 phenomenon.
The test screenings were terrible, there were many reshoots, edits and changes to make it PG-13.
Oh shit! Ridley, we got lights! Oh look, watch the road! Looks like they're gaining on us!
Music was changed with a complete replacement of a composer. I mean, talk about production hell. But that's not the end. Director John McTiernan hired a PI to wiretap a film producer because they disagreed on the vision for the project. He then lied to an FBI agent and went to jail for perjury, filing for bankruptcy while in prison. Now, the movie has 3% on Rotten Tomatoes and 3.1 score on IMDb. "1990 Jacob's Ladder" is a psychological thriller about a Vietnam War soldier. Now, I remember bits of it when I watched it as a child, and it was just too creepy, right? Apparently, the movie inspired Silent Hill games, also a bit too scary for me. But anyway, David M. Rosenthal decided to remake the film in 2019, but the premise changed to military experiments rather than the acceptance of death. Now, I've never heard of it, I've never seen it, and apparently not many people did. I couldn't find how much money it made, so probably nothing.
We're broke!
The trailer looks like a TV movie, absolute rubbish. It has 4% on Rotten Tomatoes. The original 1984 Red Dawn with Patrick Swayze was a successful World War III movie. Again, one of these popular movies I kinda watched as a child when my parents had a VHS rental store, you know, the movies were always on. But I can't remember much of it. Nor can I remember the 2012 remake starring Chris Hemsworth and Josh Peck.
What's going on?
So the film, which is about North Korea's invasion of the US, changed from the Chinese, was a commercial and critical flop. The negative reviews pointed out that Josh Peck didn't work as an action hero.
Wolverine!
That the North Koreans had American Humvees for the invasion, that the special effects were rubbish.
Well, now
We're the bad guys, and we create chaos.
I learned that Ramin Djawadi, one of my favorite modern composers, did the score. Now he's a composer from Game of Thrones and is now doing massive blockbusters, so at least that's something. 15% on Rotten Tomatoes. Now I do remember the original South Korean 2003 film Oldboy. Not only do I remember it, but my psyche is scarred by the movie, the plot and its violence. It's one of these stories that stays with you, and even though I never watched it again, it haunts me occasionally. But I was never interested in the 2013 remake by Spike Lee starring Josh Brolin. And I'm glad I didn't waste my time, because Spike Lee's version was a box office bomb and it received negative reviews.
Where's the phone?
Apparently the studio insisted on many edits and cuts, which left the director and the main actor, Brolin, unhappy with the final picture.
Father?
I don't know if their version could have been better or not, but it's still weird to remake the movie only after 10 years. But I guess they wanted to create a US version.
We adopted Mia shortly after the tragedy. Neither her mother or this Doucette murderer had any living relatives, so we were lucky enough to...
Blessed.
Yes, we were blessed.
Even though the original was massively popular worldwide, so it created quite a backlash. 39% on Rotten Tomatoes, so not the worst, still terrible. Ben-Hur is one of these movies I know a lot about. When it was made in 1959, it had the biggest budget ever, the largest sets, the largest number of costumes, a long filming schedule, and many other interesting tidbits, scored by legendary Miklos Rocha. You know, it's one of the most influential American movies of the last century.
That is not the end. We will rise again. The day Rome falls, there will be a shout of freedom such as the world has never heard before.
But it's always risky when you do remakes of such classics, because the critics will take it apart. And so they did with the 2016 Ben-Hur.
How long were you a slave?
5 years.
What is your name?
Ben-Hur.
Directed by Timur Bekmambetov, who we know from 2008 Wanted, so quite a change. The movie was deemed dull, inferior and uninspired, with over-reliance on CGI.
Drink.
It was a box office flop and it currently has 25% on Rotten Tomatoes. This action-surfing 1991 cult movie starring Patrick Swayze and Keanu Reeves didn't need a remake.
Look at it, Johnny. Look at it! This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, man. Just let me go out there. Let me get one wave before you take me. One wave.
And yet, as always, studios don't care what we think.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care. Let me tell you.
So in 2015, we got a remake.
I believe that, like me, the people behind these robberies are extreme athletes, using their skills to disrupt the international financial markets.
This time around, we got snowboarding, climbing, surfing, motocross, and wingsuit flying. Unfortunately, it didn't land. It looked dramatic, but looks are not all there is. Reviews said it was humorless and bland, and there was no chemistry between the main characters.
What are you doing here, Yuta?
What do you mean?
I remember you. Your reputation.
More balls than talent. That's what she said.
So, all style and no substance. And so it failed at the box office and it currently stands at 11% on Rotten Tomatoes. Even though the original 1990 Flatliners had a stellar cast with Kiefer Sutherland, Julia Roberts, Kevin Bacon, it wasn't a cult classic, it was just one of the many 90s movies.
Today's a good day to die.
Flatline.
30 seconds to go.
Can you recall any specific emotion or sensation?
No, but there is something out there.
So I don't think it was necessary to remake it in 2017, but I guess studio producers thought otherwise. The movie is predictable, it lacks character development and originality. Overly melodramatic and just kinda bad. The critics and audiences weren't impressed. It has 4% on Rotten Tomatoes. Paul Verhoeven's 1990 Total Recall is one of my favorite childhood movies.
You are not you. You're me. No shit.
I still remember the scenes, I can quote the movie. No wonder it's viewed as one of the best sci-fi films.
You think this is the real Quaid? It is.
So when the 2012 remake with Colin Farrell came out, I was curious. But the curiosity quickly turned into boredom.
Boring!
So for the purpose of this YouTube video, I tried to remember anything from the movie. A quote, a scene, a plot twist.
Look at you. You're still fighting and you don't even know who you are. I may not remember who I was, but I know who I am.
Nothing comes to my mind, which I reckon is the best description of this movie. It's tedious, it's unnecessary.
Get in! Now!
A box office flop with a 30% on Rotten Tomatoes as of today. White Men Can't Jump is another movie from the 90s that everyone loves. It's a sports comedy starring Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes.
Fact is, I missed this shot, I'll walk away, I'm still a chump.
Go ahead and walk away.
But you miss, and you've been beat, well, not once, but twice by a slow, white, geeky chump.
It was a time when everyone watched these American movies thinking like, this is the best country ever.
American dream. Best country in the world.
Were simpler times. I didn't even know that the movie had a remake, and yet 2023 exists.
I just noticed you're not getting enough legs on the shot. Are you dehydrated?
$100, you can't make more shots.
Let's just do 300.
Less fun, less jokes, less chemistry, and less storytelling.
You say, white boy? You telling me your friend here doesn't look exactly like Malcolm X?
Hey, yo, shut the fuck up and play ball.
Now you may think I am talking about the state of the world today, but it also describes this corny remake. 26% on Rotten Tomatoes. Let's finish on another childhood classic. There aren't that many movies that had the cultural impact as the original Ghostbusters. You know, the humor, the music, the writing, it was a perfect film.
They're real.
You do? You have?
They're here.
Now, I don't want to talk about the most recent sequels with Paul Rudd.
I found this in my living room.
Whoa, killer replica.
A replica of what?
A ghost trap?
rather the all-female 2016 remake directed by Paul Feig.
Okay, power up!
As we can imagine, even before its release, the movie jumped to the top of the culture wars weapons list on both sides of the argument.
What are you doing? Not my babies! Hey! Wait a minute! No, man, are y'all playing? Because this ain't funny, man!
And look, I don't care much about wokeness or any of that rubbish, but when my partner and I put on the film, even she pleaded with me to turn it off before our house burned down due to the toxic levels of cringe. It was the worst. Unfunny, unlikable characters, felt forced and just a mess.
This music is so terrible, it's making them more angry. Play something gentle! Behold the power of the young age! We have summoned Satan himself!
Now, I admire the courage of the producers and actors. They knew what they were getting into with this one. It was a box office flop, even though it has its fans, 74% on Rotten Tomatoes, but this time we also need to look at the audience meter, which stands at 49%. And look, I'm not against reboots and remakes. There are many old movies that I'll never watch. There are just too many of them, and they look pretty bad.
This fish is bad. It's off.
Bad? In that case, if you don't want to eat it, you probably want to wear it. Now it doesn't look so bad, madam.
So when a remix comes over my way with a fresh paint, I don't mind it. And it will be the same for the younger generation who didn't watch my childhood movies, but it would still benefit from knowing the stories. But as we saw in this video, what can on paper look like a safe bet from the studios is more like a gamble that often ends in a disastrous way. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe.